Hey guys, before we get today's video started, just wanted to tell you about the channel sponsor, CastleManiaGames.com. Castlemania Games for all your retro gaming needs. They've got cables to hook up old systems to new systems. They've got brand new controllers for old retro systems. Pretty much anything you would need for all the retro video games that we all love. So head over to CastleManiaGames.com and at checkout put in promo code PSP1010 to get that discount, and they'll know Timothy Tim PSP sent you. All right, let's get on with today's video. Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Timothy Tim PSP, back with another video. And I know what you guys are saying. Tim, you put out a video last week. You're actually producing another video this quickly? Yes, it's true. I know we all have, well, some of us have a lot of extra time on our hands, social distancing and staying at home. And one night I was sitting around thinking, why haven't I done anything really Street Fighter related? I mean, I've done PSPs that have been loaded with Street Fighter games, but I really haven't got serious about a Street Fighter theme. Well, that's all going to change starting with today's PSP, the Blanka Green 3000, and I hope you're going to like it. Let's go ahead and bring it out here. First, I'll show you the case. There we go. A portable electronics case that I adapted, adding the green Blanka text and silhouette to the left here. And then we've and just to get you started, here is the PSP with the transparent green faceplate and the Blanka artwork on the back. Kind of a line drawing there. Ready to bite your face off like he does, like my friends would do to me so many times playing the arcade. It was like the ultimate humiliation when Blanka was like just biting on your face, and then they would do it again. And then they would do it again. Motherfucker. But, you know, it's weird that it's taking me so long to do a Street Fighter themed PSP, because it is a game that is truly close to my heart. I can remember when I was a kid playing games, arcade games at the gas station. I think it was a 7-Eleven down the street from my house, and just blowing quarters, trying to beat my friends, everyone trading places in our group of friends of who you hated the most in that moment, because they were getting the best of all of us. And so I decided, you know, maybe I was intimidated, maybe I didn't think I could pull it off. Didn't get a lot of requests for that, but I mean, I still play Street Fighter 4 Well, I still play the original Street Fighter arcade, Street Fighter 2. on the PSP, and I play Street Fighter 4 on my PS3. God, I feel like I've been playing that every night here lately. And just, let me tell you, just getting my ass handed to me. I never went up really high in the rankings. I got a PS3 later in the game, and people are just kicking my ass. It's very humbling. But I love playing the Street Fighter games, and always have. I've got Street Fighter 5 on my PS5, but I really do like Street Fighter 4. You've got Fei Long. Fei Long's always been a favorite of mine. So let me take you around this PSP. It's a transparent green faceplate. Now, looking at the buttons here, I know, me looking at my camera, at my viewfinder, they look a little bit more yellow than they actually are. They're more of an orange, and I was trying to go with that to mimic, you know, Blanka's colors, his green and his crazy orange hair. And so we've got the green 3000, and then we've got the artwork on the back, and I replaced the 3000's UMD ring with the green ring, and then I tried to tie that all together with this case. This case is great because it has enough storage here in the back. It's got a handle here. That's kind of nice. It's got storage in the back where you're able to store a charger that I'm also, you know, providing with this PSP. And of course, since we all have them, the USB charge slash, let me get this untangled with one hand, charge and data cable that you can use on a standard USB chargers. I use the old chargers, like, you know, like the ones you got like with your Fire TV box, or with your like first generation Kindle. You just want to make sure that you have a low wattage USB thing if you're going to use them, if you're going to use this to charge your PSP, because obviously the PSP only needs 5 volts to charge, doesn't need anything else. So that's great. You've got the storage here with a little zipper compartment. You've got the divider. This is all felt. And then you've got the kind of angled, you know, piece of felt in there. I'll get that later. Little angled elastic holder. It makes it easy to put the PSP in and take it out. And I originally got this because I really like the kind of lime green stripe that runs across the entire thing there. And it's also it's a pretty durable case. I'm not 100% happy with how the artwork came out on this case, to tell you the truth. I think it looks okay. I think it looks nice. I used my standard process that I use to clear coat. I use a fabric clear coat to bond the artwork to the case, and I feel like the finish on it, I don't know if you can see, it's not exactly perfect. Sometimes I beat myself up over stuff like that, but you know, when you're making things by hand and you're trying new things on new materials, sometimes that happens. And I always felt like the case is just kind of like the icing on the cake, and what you're really here for is the PSP. So really, to see how cool this is, I've got to boot it up for you. So you can get a look at the wallpaper I put together. Bam. There it is, with Blanka in the background with that electric sparks coming out. His name on the side, and you can see this animated ribbon of fire that's flowing in the background. You guys might recognize this. I've used this theme on several of my excuse me, several of my PSPs in the past. I like this theme because it's very stable, works well. Some of the dynamic themes that manipulate the ribbon here can be unstable. They can cause problems. And the last thing I would want is for you to have to return a PSP because something happened with the theme. I mean, the theme's fun and it should look cool, but at the end of the day, you just want to play. So let me see here. Looking for, is it here? Yeah, I also added another Street Fighter themed wallpaper. That's just the whole gang. These images I did not create myself. I just found them online and dropped them into Photoshop and kind of enhanced them a little bit and resized them so they would work best. With the PSP, this Blanka, I just tried to accentuate some of the best parts of the desktop wallpaper here, and then obviously I added Blanka here on the side, kind of like an electric glow, and I think it all just came together really nicely. This PSP will be for sale, and like all my PSPs now, the auction will start at $50. Auctions last a week, and you know, I kind of let the people decide how much the PSP is going to be worth. So if we take a look here, I'm not going to take you through the full list of games and everything. You get everything you get with my other PSPs as far as the emulator sets with Nintendo. And if I know my channel's not that big, so if you'd like to see really quick, I'll scroll through here. I went into a little bit more in depth with the last video, so you can check that out if you want to see some more. The menus are animated. I really tried to you know, put some time and effort and use some sound and video clips and all these menus. But if you're somebody who's seen one of my videos before, you're like, yeah, okay, Tim, we've seen that. We've got, so the old school hacks with like ROM hacks and stuff is really fun. And what I will show you is the obvious hard focus on fighting games. Now, I did some research on every fighting game that came out for the PlayStation 1, and I wanted to make sure I put as many of them as I felt deserved to be on this PSP. And there is a lot of Street Fighter games, but then there's also a lot of games that admittedly I haven't played. Have not played them, but some of them looked really cool. So, or look fun, or at least interesting to check out. And so here we start out with the PlayStation 1's Street Fighter Collection. Maybe if I turn the brightness down here, there you go. You can kind of see a little bit more of the screen there. I do have the brightness hack activated to give you a brighter screen. And then I actually also replaced the screen in this PSP with a new one. I was having problems, wasn't looking good. There were some dead pixels. That happens, and I happen to have a donor screen from another PSP that was just sadly trashed and had some water damage, but the screen was still intact. Been running it for a while, and I'm happy with it. So, another Street Fighter Collection, that was part 2. Then we're going into Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter, what is this, EX, and then we have EX plus Alpha and EX2, and all the different variations on the Street Fighter game. We have X-Men versus Street Fighter, and then I threw in games like Capcom versus SNK, Marvel versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom, even Soul Calibur. And yeah, you might have seen I've even got the Street Fighter, the movie game in here. A lot of people crap on it. I think it's kind of fun. Bloody Roar. We've got Bushido Blade in here. Darkstalkers. Darkstalkers 3. Could not get Darkstalkers 2 to work properly. And then we've got the Dragon Ball games on here. Those are great fighting games. A lot of attention to detail. And then also I threw in Fighter Maker, which is a pretty cool game if you want to spend some of your quarantine time making your own game. It takes some time to get right, but it is a lot of fun. We've got King of Fighters on here. Marvel superheroes. And the list just keeps going on. We got Mike Tyson's boxing. Always like to throw that on there. Little salute. What is this? Mortal Kombat. That was Mortal Kombat 2. Now we got Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Primal Rage. Ready to Rumble. Awesome game. Spent a lot of hours playing that. More Dragon Ball. Oh, that looks like a duplicate. I didn't realize. I don't know how I got that on there twice. Sometimes that happens. I'll make sure to take that off and replace it with something else. And it keeps going with Simpsons Wrestling. The Star Wars Masters of Terrakasi was on there. The Tekken games. And you see, it just keeps going. Now, that's just all the fighting games. Now, I do have the PSP fighting games and stuff on here, and you see I have stuff split up into different folders, because when you've got 128 gigs in a PSP, you can fit so much more. And I'm not going to make this video take forever and take you through every single title, but I'm just going to scroll here a little bit so that you can see that they are all on there. And, you might be saying to yourself, Tim, is this it? Maybe you're not saying that to yourself. Maybe I'm saying that for you, saying to yourself that, whatever that means. You might be wondering if I'm going to do more Street Fighter themed PSPs. I'm doing a whole series on them. Next up, if things go to plan, will be a Ryu PSP. I also want to do an Akuma. If you're going to do a Ryu, I need to do a Ken. And then I also plan to do a Chun-Li, these iconic characters. Maybe an M. Bison. I haven't gotten that far as like deciding which characters I'm going to do past those 4. But Ken definitely needs to be on there. Akuma definitely needs to be on there. It's one of my favorites. And then Ryu, obviously. And I think Ryu will be the next one. I almost have that PSP done. And I'm trying to pick not only the model, but the color and stuff that best suits these fighters. And I'm not always going to have this case as a template for what I'm going to do. It's really kind of up to what I can find out there and what I think works the best. I like this bulky case, and I like it for Blanka because, well, he's a big guy. So I like that whole idea. And as we're going, there's Daxter. All games have been tested. Some games, their size has been shrunk down to allow for more games to fit, but I really have been able to take time and play with the ratio for compressing games so that you still get the gameplay, but you're not going to lose resolution in the game, and you're not going to miss out on the great audio quality that comes with the PSP games, which they sound great if you have a PSP, Metal Gear games. If you have a PSP, I definitely recommend strapping on some headphones and listening to them that way, especially if you're playing Luminis. That is a fun game, and it gets you in a trance-like state. It is like Tetris for adults, it almost feels like. And here we go. hitting up the last folder here. Getting towards the end of the video. I was trying to make this one a little shorter so I don't take you guys on a long ride for no reason. UFC game on here. Tony Hawk Project 8. The 10 shoe games are on here. Gotta have Siphon Filter. Street Fighter Alpha 3. Really fun game and plays really well. And don't forget, with fighting games, we've got arcade emulation over in the old school folder, so you can play fighting games in their original arcade format. No quarters necessary. PSP has got you covered. And that's it. Load it up, guys. That's it. That's my Blanka Street Fighter PSP. Once again, video color correction in the video or whatever. These buttons are a little bit more orange than they are yellow looking. But I don't know, guys. Tell me in the comments what you think. Think this one came out good? I'm pretty happy with it. I'm excited to do the other ones. Excited about Ryu. When I was a kid, Ryu was my go-to. And I had an irrational hatred for Ken. Pretty boy Ken. With his blonde hair. Trying to encroach on my badass martial arts style. Let's kick his ass. Hadouken. Alright guys, so hey, let's say you want to get a hold of me. You want to ask me some questions, or maybe you just want to know when the next auction is coming online. If Blanka is not your thing, you're not a fan of green, whatever the reason, couple good places to be if you want to hear about my next upcoming auctions. I've got a Facebook page, Timothy Tim PSP. On Facebook, you can find me on Reddit, Timothy Tim PSP. I've got my Instagram, Timothy Tim PSP. That's right, you guessed it. On Instagram, I announce all my auctions when they start and when they're getting ready to end. Everything typically starts at $50, so everybody's got a chance. And as far as shipping goes, I don't try to trick you with shipping. Shipping is what it is. I don't charge more than shipping actually costs. I hate it when people do that shit. Don't ask me to take the auction down soon because you want to make me an offer, especially if it's already got some bids. I don't like doing that to people, and I know a lot of people are more comfortable just going through the eBay process, and I support that. Payments are always done with PayPal, so you're always covered, and I always accept returns, and tech support is always offered if you happen to need it. All right, guys, thanks again for checking out the video, and nothing left to say but game on!
Game on!
Yeah, game on!